Hi, my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and today we're doing an update on our African night crawler system that has hamster bedding in it. Now, I'm starting to run a little bit low on hamster bedding. I have a little bit more to add. I think I'm going to add some food this time as well, like real food. I have some ground up stuff that I need to put in a bin right away, and I think we're going to add it to this system and see how they work through that. But it's been about 17 days since our last update, and it's time to take a look at this, see how they're doing, see how they've worked through this food, because they are working through this incredibly fast, and to see how many there are in here, and also check on the temperature, because this is now sitting on top of a heating mat that I put for all of my African nightcrawler systems to keep this heat up above that 70-degree mark. And I think it's been around that 75 to 80-degree mark really in here. And so it's been a little bit warm, but at the same time, it's been much better than keeping it down in like the 65 area, which is what it was before. So let's go and take a look at the system and see how it's doing. All right, so here's our system right here. As you can see, it says 12/27, and today is, and we're just going to put a sticker right on the front here. It is 1/13/22. So, as I said, 17 days. I don't know if you can see on here, but there are some mites crawling right near those labels, and I'm seeing a proliferation of them around the system here, just in general, but not too many, but enough to make it where it's noticeable. Not really worried about it. They're red mites, they're tiny. And let's pull this off and see how they're doing. All right, so first off, we've got some massive, massive night crawlers on the top here. Just take a look in here. This is a little bit heavier than some of my other ones. There is a worm, it looks like, jammed in there. But we're just gonna put this off to the side for now. There's lots of baby worms. Actually, oh my gosh, wait, look at this. So I'm gonna put this right in the center here. But you can see there's some baby African night crawlers right there. Oops. Get that down in your vision right there, and then there's another one over here. So there's baby night crawlers all over this lid, it looks like, as I'm looking at it. It's hard to tell, but they're right around those circles, so they're really doing a good job of reproducing in this system. And again, I use a different glove for this system because this is using hamster bedding. And but look how long these worms are. Let me just got some stuff on these gloves, but look at this. Look how big this worm is. I mean, these are just massive, massive worms. I'm not seeing worms this size in my other systems, really, but I don't think the food is quite as good as this. I mean, it's just this food is what they're meant to eat. I've said that before multiple times, but this is just, it's not just cardboard in here. It's used hamster bedding, and they seem to really like it. This is completely coming apart here as I try to move it out of the way. We'll just shift it over to one side. Actually, real quick, let me grab my temperature gun over here. I have it off to the side near the bin. So let's just take a quick temperature gander in here. So as you can see here, it says 73 degrees. It's been sitting here for maybe 10 minutes, so it maybe has cooled off a little bit. But let's just dig right down here in the center real quick and just see what it registers here at the bottom. So as you can see, it's a little bit different down there at the bottom. It's registering higher, closer to the 80-degree mark. This might be a little bit too warm, especially if it's been sitting here for a while. It's not cooling off. And that might be why the worms are more on top than down here in the bedding. So I might need to cool this down a little bit to make sure that it doesn't affect the worms and hurt them. And as you can see here, we actually have a lot of bedding that's, granted, these are those aspen shavings. They are not breaking down quite as fast. The corner over here is a little bit dry. But overall, oh, there's another worm that fell out. A little bit dry in these corners, so we'll have to add some more moisture in here. But you can see the worms still like it in here, even though it's warm. Tons of them. Nice big worms. As we just turn this over here, you can just see they're down there near the bottom even those 80-degree temperatures. But you can see how long these worms are. I mean, they're just massive worms. And I'm still stretching this guy out. I mean, that's probably a good 12 to 15 inches there. Let's call that 12 inches. That's probably a good foot for that worm right there that he was able to stretch out. So these worms are quite the monsters. If you're looking for really big worms, it'd be easy to sort through. This might be your worm to go to. You can just see, I mean, there's just tons of them in here. We're going to move this off to the side over here. I've been putting these bags in there because this is what I put all the used hamster bedding in, and this way they have a chance to break down. We'll just kind of bury these bags over here on that side. Let's just check this corner over here. And again, more worms. Nice, healthy looking worms. I'm not seeing any signs of stress really. So that's a good thing. And with the baby worms that we're seeing, that's a good sign. I probably should start removing some of these worms from there. Look at that, take off. And start really duplicating. Here we go. This is a nice little, this is not a baby, but close enough. Right there. You can see right there. Right there, we've got a baby worm. So they're doing really well in here. I can't get it off. There we go. They're doing really, really well in here. They're really liking this food system. I think they're just liking this in general. They're all through here. And they're just doing a great job of breaking this material down. I still don't know what I'm looking for with cocoons. I would think I would see some in here, and they could be all through here, and I'm just looking right past them. If you see any cocoons, put down the second that you see it, and I'll take a look and see if I can find it. And we can come back, maybe it'll give me a better idea of what I'm looking for in here. This side doesn't seem to have nearly as much stuff. Some of these aspen shavings are still there, but this is not ridiculous. Like, I added quite a bit last time, and I think I mixed it in here. And there's still some that are definitely breaking down, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. I thought there'd be more left after just 17 days, but they really, really worked through this stuff pretty well. Now, with that, we do have a little bit more hamster bedding we can add to this system, which I think we will. Let me just see here. Yeah, we'll add more hamster bedding to the system. So let me put on a mask. We'll add the hamster bedding. We'll get it wet. We will then add some food in here as well. So right now, this little bug. Right now, what I'm going to do though is I got to put on a mask. And the reason being for that is that the dust really does come off this. This is a very dry material. And I'm just going to, actually, I am going to dig a hole in one of the sides here. It's just a lot easier if I have it on one side. So we're going to just dig a hole on this side. We've got the paper on the other side over there. And this way we can kind of cover this up with stuff too, to make sure it gets that full microbial content that it really needs. So what we're going to do here is I've got my bag, just so you can see in there. You can see there's the bag of stuff. And we're just going to pour the rest of this in there. And now I have a new bag to go on top too. All right, a little bit of dust, but not too much. Just spread that out in here. All right, so I've got my mask on because this stuff is just very, very fine dust. I don't really like getting that all over my my face or in my mouth. So we're going to cover this up. I know it's dry. We are going to get it wet here in a minute. But what we are also going to do is just dig a small hole here in the center. And we're going to add some food. Now this food is not frozen. So this is not my frozen food I normally add. I decided to do some juicing today. And I've got some juice left over, or not juice, but the peel left over here. So we've got some celery, carrot, and that's beet. So I did some beets today, and there's also some apple in here, although it sort of disappears pretty quickly with because there was only one, whereas I had a massive amount of carrots and a lot of beets. Just knock some of this off. There we go. Very little left on there, but this is a great way to use up this excess material. And this should be really, really good food for the worms as well. They should really, really like that stuff. I've typically found that worms just chew right through that material. So there we go. Now, there is one other thing we need to add. I'm not adding any crushed eggshells this time. Hold on, I'm going to take off my mask. The dust has settled. I'm not adding any crushed eggshells or anything like that this time. But we are going to need to add some water because we just put in a ton of dry material. And you do need to add water when you do that. So we're going to add a lot, especially on this side over here. Really saturate this with some water. Because we just added, all that hamster material is dry. I mean, it's been sitting in my basement on the floor for a while, and then we'll add a little bit over the food. That should be good. This wasn't overly dry, so I'm not too worried about it. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to take that bag that we just dumped all the shavings out of, and I'm going to put that back on top. Okay, I've got a little bit more dust coming out now. But, since this is here, we'll just go ahead and put this one right on top like that. Just as we had the other ones. Lots of dust again. And then we'll put our cover back on that. So from there, I'm going to take this cover, put it back on. That's going to leave a nice big air gap. Hopefully those baby worms will go down there from there, but that's all we are going to do for this update. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. And remember that I do have an Amazon web store now to buy stuff, and also I have some links down below if you're looking to get started in this. So thank you for watching.